Typical males get to be about 50 years old, and they decide, this is all I'm going to be. I've tried, I've failed, I don't have enough gas left in the engine, I don't know how to get over the hill. And then they become very depressed, and they divorce their wives, and they just give up, and they lose their health. And this is a very key fact, I would say 85% of all Ponzi schemes I know of are white males between 50 and 65 years old. It's a fact.
That's their last shot, right? It's the Ponzi scheme.
They think by the time I get caught in 5 years, and then I get arrested, I'll probably be dead or before I go to jail.
Yeah.
And I swear it's like 85% fit that profile. It's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
And
there's a high suicide rate. You mentioned that.
Well, they all kill themselves
Those
when they get caught.
Men of that age group, of which we're part.
Well, I've had a lot of clients that have killed themselves in the last 5 years. They get to a point they're depressed. I mean, I say it all the time. 85% of my investors seem like they're depressed to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're rich. You have money. You have assets. You have kids. You look like you're scrubbing around looking for a dollar bill. And they may be worth 10, 20, $50 million. You think they have no money at all.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is FOMO is rampant. FOMO was FOMO before we knew about FOMO. FOMO was back in the 80s and the 90s. And it's like, well, you have a bigger car. You have a bigger house. I live in Bentry. You live in Bentry. I live in a better neighborhood. I have a newer Mercedes. When I was in Dallas back in the 90s, I said, Dallas is so pretentious. Everybody's Mercedes at the light all have clocks in the back. Why? Because it tells the time they bought their Mercedes, and mine is 2 minutes newer than yours.
No.
And I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to live my life based on what other people have. I'm going to be prudent. I'm going to build my business. I've never missed a payroll in 40 years. I've never had a default on a loan. I've never had a bank foreclosure. I've never had a regulation with the Securities Exchange. I have had zero on my record in 41 years. And the reason I did that is that I said, as an entrepreneur, I must protect the core of my entrepreneurship by being prudent and savvy and diligent in what I do. And that makes my investments to my partners that much safer. But it takes a lot of discipline. I think there was about 5 years there back after the '08 crash. I went about 5 years. I didn't take a paycheck or make any income out of my company. I dumped in millions and kept it alive.
Yeah.
And I had a CFO goes, you're an idiot. Just keep the money you have. Close your business down. I said, see, that's the difference between you and me. You're a quitter. You think you should hoard the pecans that you have for winter because you're a squirrel. I think I should plant the pecans that I have to grow trees next year, and I'll live off 2 of the pecans. Yeah. That's why you're never going to be a true entrepreneur. But you're a great CFO, but you'll never be at the top. And that's how my brain works.
So you turned 60.
61.
61.
4 weeks ago, yeah. I feel 25 though.
Yeah, right. 61 is the new 25. And I'm 66. And so 60 was the first birthday I can remember where there was a bit of melancholy, right? I mean,
exactly.
50 maybe a little bit crept in, but 60 was kind of like.
60 was stark.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, the next one's 70, and that sounds really, really old to me. Plus, my parents both died before they reached 70.
Yeah.
So I think a lot these days about, I don't know how much time I have left. Is it 10 years? Is it 15 years? Is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
But, you know, now you have a different focus on that time. And so you're still dealing with individual investors, which sounds like maybe the bane of your existence is dealing with those individuals. What's the end game? What do you want to do?
So I get asked that a lot from my partners. They're like, you know, when are you retiring? When are you giving up? I said, here's the deal.
I won't say giving up.
Well, when they mean,
I'll say transitioning to the next thing.
Yeah, they put it in different words to me depending on who I'm talking to. But here's how I see it. So we've had a great last 8 years, and nothing makes me more ticked off than watching somebody who's had a great 5, 6, 8 year run. And then they ride off in the sunset and they buy their plane or yacht and they live a great life, and everybody else going like, well, you haven't finished the job yet.
Yeah.
So I went out the first 4 months of this year on what I call a vision tour. And I went out and said, I have nothing to sell. I'm coming to tell you where I'm taking my company in the next 10 years because I plan on being involved in it the next 10 years. To what extent, it depends on my health and condition, right? But I said, it makes me frustrated when you get me into these investments and before they've matured, before you've reached the time period you said it's going to take for these things to mature, you're already riding off like you're done and you're playing golf and sending me pictures of you at your lake house. Well, that pisses me off. So for me, because of the way I was raised, I got my partners into this deal. I've laid the vision for the next decade. In the next decade, I think I'll have $10 billion of assets owned, cash, no debt, between me and my partners. I think we'll be cash flowing $1.5 billion a year, 10 to 15% a year. And we will be a target for a buyout in 10, 15 years. When Exxon gets hungry again and they look around, there's not been very much in the way of new private equity capital the last 7 years into oil and gas because of all the anti-fossil fuel, carbon footprint, blah, blah, blah. So all these guys got real hungry last year and they bought each other out, $250 billion in acquisition. Well, now they've satisfied the hunger and there's going to be some sub-billion-dollar deals. But when Exxon or Chevron or whoever's out there says, where do we get the actuary in our back office who's calculating how many drill sites I have, and they say in 2040, Mr. CEO of Exxon, you're out of enough location to sustain your production, you're now in a decline, it's time to short the stock. So he said, we can't do that. So go buy Pioneer for $60 billion, and you gave me 20 more years of running room. Mm-hmm. Well, in 15 more years, there's going to be a lot of hungry companies saying our stock's going to plummet if we can't prove it up. They're going to look around for leasehold position, mineral rights, and wells and drilling and production. They're going to be like, that guy, Eckard, him and his partner sitting on about 10 to 15 billion. Maybe we ought to buy them out for about 30 or 40 billion. So that's kind of my vision where we're going. We're going to do it 1 year at a time, one step at a time, processes, systems in place, artificial intelligence, automation, all the things that should be done, we're doing right now inside the company. Now, for me, stop drinking, lost weight, got gluten allergies, can't eat anything fat or bad for me. I got to eat all this lettuce and chicken. It's driving me crazy. At the lowest weight I've been in a long time. I feel 100% fantastic. My blood pressure I go in is like, gosh, I think it's like 117/72. I haven't had that kind of low blood pressure. So unless I get hit by a bus or get in a road rage fight, I'm in pretty good shape.